As you can see on your screen, State Green will be on the Legion side this time. We're Absolute Legends, of course, on the Hellborn side. I did have a couple of updates real quickly before we jump into this. Complexity did take out FYKU 2-0, and then Trademark defeated Pudge 2-0. So they're awaiting in winners bracket semifinals. One's on Trademark on the top portion. Complexity will face the winner of this series actually tomorrow, which I think there's a chance we could possibly cover that tomorrow. So back to this one though. Blind Bounce, Monkey King Silhouette, and then Parasite Wild Soul. Up here.
I was going to say, I didn't see the lock initially, but I was thinking, well, Keeper's going to get locked instantly. Instant lock Keeper, and it is by Swindle Melons. And this hero, man, it's a ridiculous hero. Long lane, jungle, what have you. This hero just seems to play well. I think it's specifically the fact is it opens up your draft to do whatever you want it to do. Like, if you need a jungler in your lineup, you already have a strong Suicide, you can run him as a jungler. If you need a strong Suicide, you can run him as a Suicide, and he's one of the best, if not the best, Suicide hero.
Oh, yeah.
On top of, like, maybe Wild Soul. But Wild Soul's actually blind banned here by Cookies. He does lock up that Ophelia and the Andromeda, and I think locking up perhaps another jungler would be smart as well. Maybe not Ophelia, maybe something like something that could actually, well, maybe not another jungler. Maybe perhaps Hell Plague Rider would be a good lock, or maybe Bubbles. Something like that. Yeah. In fact, if I was Swindle Melons, I might even lock Tempest plus another jungler right here. Like maybe Tempest plus War Beast here would be good for them.
Yeah. Well, Swindle Melons going to think about it, starting to dip in some extra time, but there's the Tempest and there's the War Beast. So Swindle Melons obviously listening into to our live cast here.
Ban him now!
Epic. Glacius, the final lock coming out from Cookies, and now, of course, that takes us into the banning stage. So. That's good to see them locking up that Andromeda there.
It's like I see a pattern here.
It's almost.
I don't know.
It's almost as if these are getting very predictable. Ban coming out on Draconis right there, so to start things off. But yeah, the Glacius, especially after the Ophelia, yeah, it's just like.
Yeah, of course.
Just makes sense, man. Pebbles, Dark Lady coming out. Dark Lady by Swindle Melons right there. It's obviously worked out very well for Absolute Legends. Moon Queen. That happened the first game. Remember, but there's Bubbles and. Fade is the final one, so the banning phase goes through fairly quickly there. First pick, Swindle Melons. What is it going to go for?
I think Plague.
Tundra's on the board.
Tundra is on the board, but that's just not their style. I don't know.
True.
Unless we get proved wrong here, right? But if they're picking up Plague first, and they know that they have first pick, and they're probably eyeing that Keep of the Forest, those two heroes synergize so well together.
Yeah. And
you don't really necessarily want to pick Tempest or Ophelia first out of that pool because you have that's a passive jungler that just I think gets owned a little bit too easy. Also. I just think Plague in general is a very, very strong Suicide when you just put them together with a Keep of the Forest. It gives you lots of armor, lots of team fight potential with those two ultimates synergized together. So
yeah.
Also Wretched Hag. I mean, they like Wretched Hag as well. It's a very popular pick. I would say Hag or Plague, probably Plague. Oh, but they switch it up. They go with the Torture.
They do like Torture too. Swindle Melons has proven that time and time again, especially more in that Swindle Melons himself loves to play it and plays it very well. He really does. He plays more of the farming style and can definitely have a pretty solid impact. So, and think with Torture, another reason to like a hero like that, especially with this lockpick mode, more versatile heroes such as the Suicide/Jungler heroes, support/solo heroes is also another very powerful, and Torture definitely fits that kind of style. So. Solid first pick there coming up for State Green. Back over to Absolute Legends here as far as their couple of picks. But yeah, I was making the point that Andromeda being the lock there from Absolute Legends. Again, it's good. It really is good to see the Andromeda's kind of making a little bit more of a splash, at least these last couple of days or whatever here on the competitive scene. Because she deserves it. She really is just a powerful hero, and I agree with you 100%. I think that she is the best scaling, best late-game support hero in the game, honestly. So, and hell, with Tempest being picked up so much, you would figure that would just make a lot of sense, too. Pharaoh Witchslayer going to come out here, though, from AL. Again, Witchslayer worked out pretty well for them last game, being played by Cookies, and Pharaoh's a solid option.
Yeah, and Pharaoh could maybe be a predetermined counter to this Tempest if they do decide to go for it, but I don't think that's the reason why. I think that just maybe... I know GTSale plays Pharaoh a lot. In fact, he's right-clicking it. And I know he plays it a lot. He's very comfortable with the hero and plays it effectively. So they want to do that again. It does look like, yet again, with Witchslayer picked up right here, that they're going to go for Witchslayer solo mid. And I will say, I think in the metagame, it's maybe not that the strongest, but Cookies played it well. But I was talking with him just a little bit, actually, as he was like, oh, this strat is so amazing. I was like, yo, you were the only death on your team, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
that
to
is true.
say
He
that
should be
didn't
ashamed
work.
of that.
But no, it's just funny to poke fun at him.
You get along with Cookies. These are just good guys over here on AL. That's not to take away from Staker Game. Of course, great guys over there too. But AL just seems like fun guys, man. Cookies especially. He just seems like just a genuinely good guy. I know Milkfat's talked about him a lot in the past. He's he's played with him a lot. Obviously with Clan Milk and all those days, and just he just seems cool. Anyways. Swinnemelon's over here. Got some bromance going on. The second and third pick coming out here for his regular picking stage. We'll see what he decides to go with. Magma's going to be one, and ooh, Soul Reaper coming out here from SG. I know Kazu has played that in the past. We'll see if he's maybe played by Slicks this time around, but Soul Reaper out. He's kind of dabbled on the competitive. Oh my God, we have a scout pick, ladies and gentlemen.
I like it.
Why?
I like it a lot. I mean, when you're thinking about carry options, what's banned? Almost everything. Magebane isn't banned, but I don't think Magebane's going to be good here against this team. Well, okay, Magebane is up against Torturer, but already on paper, this looks like it's going to be a support Torturer. Supporting the Magmus mid, Keeper the Forest. Not exactly quite sure what they could do for Keeper. There are 2 different junglers, actually 3 different junglers, so it's going to be a Suicide Keeper, no doubt. Soul Reaper solo bottom. Depending on what AL decides to go here, they will pick the last jungler. If there's 2 taken, they'll take the last third as their last jungle player, or jungle hero, I should say. But Scout, I just think it's going to be effective here, especially the fact that you're going to be going up against 2 different Invis units as well, Keeper and Magmus. And, yeah, I don't know. Something about Scout this game, I actually do find that he's going to be quite good.
Scout has this identity, really ever since the beginning, since beta of HoN, of being just the trollish hero. And, him and, like, Blacksmith, maybe. Just these troll heroes that... you would never take them seriously. Whenever it's picked up in TMM, it's just like, oh, let's just leave now. What's the point in playing? He's on your team. But he's had his impact, honestly, on the competitive scene. Again, when Lockpick first came out, TT Esports specifically, they actually picked him up from time to time. And they made it work, actually, pretty damn well. Ophelia Glacius are going to be the final 2 pickups here. So, actually, you got Tempest or Warbeast to be picked up coming out here from Stay Green. So... we'll see maybe what to go with here, but hell, it could even be Andromeda.
No, it's well, I mean, it could actually. It technically could, and you
they
could
run a Torturer farm instead. And
you could go Soul Reaper, Andro bottom, and just crush the Suicide.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say between the jungles, probably Warbeast, and the reason is you have 2 different strong counters to Tempest. You have the hook from Pharaoh. You also have the Scout Eyes, which are completely uncounterable. You cannot counter them. You have a Shrunken Head, you have a Null Stone, doesn't matter. Even if you pop in with a Shrunken Head, the eyes are physical. And if you sit there actually under your Scout Eyes, it will still cancel your ultimate. You can still pop it even if you're locked down.
Huh.
So they are uncounterable unless you just simply don't fight by that eye, or if you kill it. But that's too impractical.
That's actually that's kind of what I was going to bring up with Scout, specifically those eyes, man. That's an underrated ability, I think. And
oh yeah,
Scout, those can be. There's several benefits. One is obviously it's 5 second silence at level. 6 second silence. Holy crap, 6 second silence at level 4. But on top of that, it counter wards. It reveals Nature's Veil. It reveals Invis units, and obviously with the Keeper of the Forest, that could be a big deal. It's a very powerful tool, man. And kind of going to the point I was having earlier, where Scouts, I really think, should be respected as more of a solid carry option choice rather than that, they're just trolling here pickup. So, anyways, we'll see what kind of an impact he has. He is going to be playing by Mookies, and you made the point last time, and obviously played Darkly the last game, did fantastic. So, seems like he could play the carry option. We got King Plato playing the bitch ward support Glacius. So,
yeah.
Still find that funny. But
now the one thing I will say on paper is that, and I said this last game too, is their lineup is kind of squishy. It's a little bit squishy, and you are dealing with a great AoE ultimate in Keeper and lots of heals coming out from Soul Reaper. And I will say lockdown abilities are fantastic. Like Witch is going to be great against Mag, as we saw last game, which is also very good against Keeper. He's also very good against, well, really any hero, because once you get that blink. But as far as the laning phase goes, and we'll have to wait and see how it starts, but I'm guessing Magmus Torturer mid, and while I feel it's not as strong as a Mag Engineer, it's still going to be devastating to this Cookies playing this Witch Slayer mid.
Yeah. But remember last game, Cookies was like, I don't care about getting dominated mid lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do my thing later on in the game and still have a pretty solid impact. So, Warbeast using his minions as his Keeper of the Forest. That's just rude. They're going to go up here and kind of tank this creep wave and keep it pushed back. So, yeah, you see Ophelia coming over like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? Going to tap some damage into both of them. Even Glacius is going to come over for some assistance. But there goes the despawn, and I think it's already done its work, though. So, Scout will be up here at the top lane, however. Keeper the Force, of course, going to start heading up there, being played by Kaiser again. But we'll see how well he's able to do against Mookie's playing the Scout. And there's the tower damage already coming out. He gets the first kill, though, using that hatchet wisely. And we'll see how he progresses. He did go the eye first, actually. And he put it here, and this is exactly what the thing I'm talking about. I mean, you brought this point up before where, sure, you get the revelation apparently, or eventually, then you go for the counter war, but by the time you get everything stacked and ready to go, it's 4 minutes into the game. Having a Scout, you don't need to worry about that. You just simply put that eye down, and you don't have to worry about it being blocked. Now, Keeper the Force actually doing a smart thing here. Casey's blocking it himself with the Tree Dogs, actually, so that's kind of frustrating. But
yeah, which means you're not going to be able to pull that till 3:15.
Yeah.
Because you have to stack it. It's not going to respawn till 2 minutes. Actually, I heard some action in mid, but it's not going to respawn until 2 minutes. Can't stack it till 3. Can't pull it till 3:15, unless you do pull it at 2:15 and actually smartly pull the hard camp to it, which is, it's actually not that hard to do. So maybe that's what they'll try to do. The only thing is, you run the risk is if you screw it up, it's going to make things even worse.
Yeah.
But I think it should be done. I think it needs to be done up in this top lane.
Yeah, I mean, Glacius currently
look at all this farming
assisting with him, but what's that?
Look at all these creeps coming
yeah.
his way. I mean, this is the power of a Suicide Keeper. You can do these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to hit level 3 here, so yeah, he's going to have some very, very good, well, not very, very good, but some decent farm here to start things off, especially being in that Suicide role. And he made the point, I mean, him and like Wild Soul is really the only one that you can compare him to as far as just being so powerful in that Suicide lane. But yeah, he hits level 3, gets a couple of creep kills there. Not doing too shabby to start, and the creep presence once again going back. There was a stack right here after the side, actually. That's now a triple stack here coming out for Glacius after the side, so we'll see eventually they come about to doing that. Ophelia actually going to take up the Skeleton King and try to kill at least one of the Ended Warriors. Well, takes over the Catman Champion, though, and continuing to farm. Anyways, bottom lane, how's that going? Soul Reaper versus your Pharaoh. Soul Reaper does go 2-0-1 so far, so he does have the inhuman nature. He's passing up the Withering Presence here. What do you make of that? I
disagree with it completely. I think that's one of the reasons why Soul Reaper is picked up so much, because against suicides, and especially against melee suicides, I would get that level 1. In fact, I would almost contemplate leveling it up. I'm not even kidding. I actually had a talk with HoN about this, and he thinks that in situations like this, it's totally viable to level up that aura.
Yeah.
It requires no mana to use, and it's massive amounts of damage over a long period of time, but it still pushes them out of the lane. So
He does eventually get it.
He does eventually get his level 4, but I feel like the fact that you have 8 CS on Pharaoh could have been dwindled down to like 2 if he kept up more harass early on, because it just snowballs. The more harass you do early on, the better it will pay off in a few minutes afterwards.
Yeah. So, but at least again, he does have it now, so we'll see maybe kind of impact picking up here against Pharaoh, being played by, who's playing that Pharaoh? GG Slayer here, also known as GG Sucka, of course. I believe he's actually known by GG Sucka on the HoN Tour site, yet somehow he gets away with GG Slayer in game, so not sure how that works out, but hey. Ghost Marchers
bottom
by Scott. Bottom lane, actually Hellfire applied. Sword is in some trouble. There's the Bloodlust kill coming out. The Gorton on top. Now, I don't know if you were watching from the beginning, but I caught it like kind of halfway through, but holy crap. Sword goes down to a solo Pharaoh.
He caught him with the mummies. I think it was in tower range at first. I caught it towards the middle to the end of that exchange, but then has the Hellfire. It's only level 1, but the fact that he was only around for a little bit of time, no other creeps around, it only went to the damage only went to him. And that is not what you want to have happen. Slicks playing this carry role, kind of semi-carry role in Soul Reaper. Like I said, against a melee, it should be absolutely decimating Pharaoh.
Yeah.
And like I feel like part of the reason is not leveling up that passive. What is it called? The Withering Presence. Now, it might seem like a small deal, but I don't think it is a small deal. I think it's a huge deal. And when you come back and look at what I could have improved as you get back in this lane and think about why that happened, maybe your positioning was bad, but that shouldn't have mattered. I think he should have been at a much had much more farm than Pharaoh at that point anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of Pharaoh, he spent some gold somewhere. Okay, the courier actually has a decent amount of
maybe
early stuff items, but yeah, is the makings of a chalice?
Yeah, he has a chalice.
Okay, yeah, so he's going to have a blood chalice. Yeah, that's actually a pretty solid start here now.
Yeah.
Coming out for Pharaoh. I mean, he's level 6 on top of that, so he has that very aggressive gank potential. Now, again, so we got that kill, but the last thing you want to do is get overzealous about it and kind of free to kill to Soul Reaper at the same time, so... Yeah, GG Slayer needs to be a little bit careful there. Top lane, Scout and Keeper the Force continuing to go back and forth, but again, KZU just continuing to keep the lane pushed back. You do see the pull from Glacius. I think he might have missed it, actually, as the melee creeps were up here, but the ranged one was pulled, so I think he might have just missed it by a little bit right there. He should be able to get this one, though, and try to get some control back in favor of Scout now, as, yeah, he's going to be successful with this one, so... Scout, how's his farm going? He is at 27-7. You really kind of compare that to, I guess, the Soul Reaper, who's 22-8 and has that death, remember. So
Right.
Scout is definitely having the better time there, being played on Mookies again.
Yeah, he's having the better time. Then you compare Pharaoh to Keeper. Pharaoh's got 17 and a kill, the first blood under his belt. And actually, what you really have to compare is basically Scout to Magnus. That's where you're dumping the easy lane. That's where you're dumping all the farm onto. And in a sense, you're comparing Witch Slayer to like well, kind of Keeper.
Kinda, yeah.
Sort of.
This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the Magnus Scout. That's actually a better way to look at it, probably. And actually, Magnus is going to go to the bottom room. Going to be a haste rune down there. He already has a DD activated, actually.
Oh.
I guess that's something. Oh, Hoka, though, in the middle lane, catching Torture right there. And Cinder will more than likely fall. The Hex even on top of that. And the Hellfire doing so much work. Now, Magnus, he is coming back in again. He has a haste rune activated. Pharaoh will get returned on, and he'll get taken out. Magnus still wants a little bit more, but not going to happen. So the 1-for-1 exchange, probably not worth it in the end.
He has double damage plus haste for
big deal.
15 seconds. Both of those runes activated. This could be deadly. You got to be careful. That is really, really strong. Running at max movement speed, hitting for 130 damage just about. So pretty lucky there, getting that combination of runes.
Yeah, that kind of worked out pretty well. But
now, in the meantime, with Pharaoh having that gank, now it set up great things. But when you crush a lane like that, when you get a bloodlust like that onto that short lane hero, I feel like, yeah, you want to maybe gank, but I think of ganking more as a reactionary tool rather than trying to do something on your own. So having the TP on you and maybe trying to react to something. Instead, I would stay in this bottom lane and continue to do better than the hero that you were up against. Now, as a result, Soul Reaper's farm has doubled, whereas Pharaoh has gotten really no CS.
yeah.
So, I mean, it was great. He wanted to be active, but I really think his priority should have been still in this bottom lane and then react to any kind of possible ganks.
Yeah, well, he is back here now, of course, but you do look at Slicks, he's kind of recovered pretty comfortably here despite that early on death. What was the Bloodlust? He has Steam Boots and Mystic Vestments now. Bringing the Teacher on top of that. He's farming about 285 gold per minute. Freezer on a Magnus in the meantime in the middle lane, which they're not there to follow up, though. He's not level 6 just yet. If he was, maybe that would have been a kill, but Magnus is going to be fine. He's hitting about half-life right now, and he'll start to fall back into region. What was that?
Oh, he just stunned in. That could have been certain death for Magnus. That was really, really close.
Going for the creep kills, man. Getting greedy. Top lane, Vanish has been maxed out here from Scott. Again, not a surprise, but just making a note. Disarm level 1 picked up. And he has his ultimate. That ultimate, that could be pretty devastating, too. It's really annoying. I love how you can also cast it out of Invis, too. You can constantly, like, harass with it even. Cancel cast to keep them busy, but... yeah, powerful tool to have. And again, Mookie's farm, not too shabby up here. 310 gold per minute. Right now, currently sitting on Ghost Marchers, and he's going to go pick up his life tube right here. Think to... Probably going to see a rune cleaver on Scout, safe to say.
Yeah, probably. Scout's actually one of the fastest farmers once he gets the rune cleaver as well. Like, you consider him kind of like a Mage Bane, in the sense that Mage Bane can blink around and farm very quickly with that blink, with that flash ability. Same thing kind of goes for Scout. Like, you can get around the map very, very quickly with a Vanish ability, because you have such high movement speed with it. So once he gets that rune cleaver, his farm will skyrocket. And, yeah, but the scary thing is not really the Soul Reaper, who is doing much better now. It's this War Beast. I mean, War Beast has been untouched in the woods. He's actually set up a gank. He has 1 kill under his belt, 44 CS. Has an Abyssal Skull, actually should have it right now. Yes, he does. And if there's anyone that will carry the late game, it's going to be Z-Freak on War Beast. Yeah, kind of, you know, as they tend to do, especially with the jungle War Beast, kind of just forget about him. But here we are now, 9 minutes into the game. You mentioned Abyssal Skull just finished. He has that kill under his belt. He's farming about 285 gold per minute. Not too shabby here for Z-Freak. Against Swinamelons with the farm that he has, 1,100 gold's currently saved up. Farming 345 GPM. That right now is the top in the game. He's currently back at base, actually. He's going to maybe regen and actually buy some items. But just like last game, you gotta keep. He actually bought both the Mystic Investments and a Power Supply right there. So maybe, I think it's safe to say you want to go Portal Key next. I mean, last game he went for even a Grave Lock in next before he went straight for that Portal Key. But we'll keep an eye on that, see how he does. This middle tower is going to be pressured pretty heavily here. Will it be denied? You see the leading team. They definitely want you. The minions are coming in with the Helons. Board's coming in. Ophelia's in a lot of trouble. Witcher's here as well as Glacius. But Ophelia left behind. The Graveyard's not going to be dodged here by Z-Freak. But he is charging in. The Ophelia here already used, though. And actually, the Legion team will not able to get any kills out of this. They should be able to deny it, though, as we go right there. So all 5 players from both teams, in fact, coming in. It ends up being a denied tower with no hero kills. Yeah, I mean, you could say even though they denied the tower, that's kind of like a one fight in a sense for AL. They used a lot of resources. Everybody came to mid, and like you said, no one died. If they're able to make sure that they don't get this mid tower push from them, they do have Mookies that went immediately back to the top lane to farm that.
Yeah.
So they're getting more resources right now than SG.
I think that's the big thing, exactly. And you made this point where that vanish ability especially allows Scout to just kind of roam around very quickly, kind of like the Mageman in the sense, just blinking around and constantly farm up. So the fact that he just went right back up here after that fight in mid and is continuing to farm. Now this middle tower is going to be pushed by our Legion side. I think State Green will eventually get this, and vulnerability already used. And there's no sign of Absolute Legends coming in to defend it. So yeah, easy tower kill for State Green at the same time. And hell, they may even keep this push going, depending on what they think is right. I mean, Scout doesn't have a... Oh, he does have a homecoming, so never mind. I guess it is off cooldown now, so he could support if need be, but yeah, they're not going to go for it. They're going to fall back. Maybe Conquer? They're heading in that direction. Nope, maybe still the Ancients, actually. There are triple stack Ancients.
Now,
that could be pretty big.
AL sees this, though. If they need to get down here immediately, and they could actually have a huge fight. Magnus is ulting. Oh, they're taking this out quickly. AL is trying to respond. They might be able to get a pick here. This could be devastating for them. They actually put down the silence. Huge silence AoE, but a great keep of the Force ultimate. He gets caught right here. There's a stun actually misses from Cookies. There's SR doing a lot of damage. The Magnus stuns back into the Warbeast is doing a lot of damage now to GG Slayer. He gets taken out. This is a horrible fight now for AL. Got turned immediately, and it's all because of that Keeper of the Forest ultimate.
Well, I think that, and then also no Wrath of the Pharaoh from Pharaoh. He had so many chances right there to get a perfect Wrath of the Pharaoh. He could have clumped up on 3, if not 4 heroes even, but it wasn't off cooldown. It was still on cooldown. I was kind of wondering why he didn't use it, but you know, checked him. He was still like 7-8 seconds left, so it was very, very close. But he just didn't have it, and well, SG was able to big time capitalize. So between the root, obviously they get the Ancients on top of that for at least most of them. I mean, yeah, that just worked out beautifully for Stay Green. And now you look at the stats here: 3,700 gold lead, 2,700 experience lead. All across, I mean, you have now the top 3 farmers in the game. Warbeast leading the way at 370, but then Soul Reaper and then even Magnus up there at 330. Scout is sitting at around 315 gold per minute at the top on his team. So, yeah, just all around huge, huge, huge fight there for State Green. And that's just one of those that, especially for your Absolute Legends, you look at that and you're like, God, that sucks, because we were definitely in this game very, very well for the most part. But after the fight like that early on, it really has got to get to you. But, you know, calm things down and just like last game, make the comeback happen. So
you can. And Scout, he does farm very, very quickly.
Well, Pharaoh's dead.
Especially, Pharaoh is in a world of hurt right now as the ultimate comes out. There's Magma stun from the Swindle Melons as well to get the last hit. And they're going to push this tower as a result. It's very, very low already. And that's going to further their gold lead after this to about 6K, which is pretty damn huge.
Yeah, it's you're right. Wow. It went from maybe a 2,000 lead to all of a sudden 6,000 in just a couple of minutes right there for State Green, especially this early. Hell, it could even be more. I mean, they're going to push a secondary tower, and you got to wonder if Absolute Legends is going to stop this, honestly. Impalement's activated. That's a level 1 Impalement, but still plenty of damage. Obviously, you have Warbeast here as well. He's got the level 1 Battle Cry. He hasn't activated it just yet, but this tower's dropping, and it is going to fall. I mean, State Green will get another tower kill, and the gold will get that much bigger. It's now a 7,000 gold lead. In the meantime, Absolute Legends trying to counter push the top lane, but they're so late. We were probably going to see some TPs here coming out from State Green. I mean, the vulnerability maybe? No, I guess not. So there's a tower kill, so at least they get a tower kill. But they did lose quite a bit in the meantime, including even Ancients on top of that.
Yeah. This is where also, in general, you wish you had a Dark Lady over a Scout. Now, I talked about Scout's pretty good, but, you know, with what they had to choose. Like, Dark Lady is just such a better team fight hero, I think, because you have that ultimate. You jump in with massive amounts of cleave when you already have that Rune Cleaver between your Dark Blades and your charging strikes. And
Dark Lord was banned, by the way.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they had to choose. They had Scout.
Gotcha.
And it makes you think like, oh darn it! Just to put into perspective how strong Dark Lady is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great point, definitely. So, but Moki's gonna give it his all, of course, as he should. He has a sustainer finished, and on his way to that Rune Cleaver. And as you said, I mean, he definitely can really progress once he gets that Rune Cleaver. Just a matter of getting there, though. Now, Dark Lady got the Rune Cleaver around, I want to say 18 and a half minutes last game. So if at least he can keep on par with that somewhat, again, there's still definitely hope here for Absolute Legends, of course. But State Green, it seems like all 3 games, State Green has actually had the momentum early on. Obviously, the first game that eventually paid off. The second game, it didn't pay off, and the Absolute Legends was able to hold it out and come back. But this third game, again, we have a case of State Green definitely having the momentum early on. and looking pretty damn good for them. Only 15 minutes into the game. They're going to group up and push now this top lane. A lot of pushing presence when you look at it, too. They got Soul Reaper, Keeper of the Forest, War Beast. Magnus does have his portal key now, as he didn't go the Grave Logger this time. He does this go for that after this early region and build-up items. And this tower, it's going to fall. I don't see Absolute Legends even stopping this or remotely stopping it. And we could actually see another secondary tower push even at this rate. And if you're Absolute Legends, I mean, I know it's tough, but can you really just give this up at this point in the game?
I think you have to. Yeah, I think you have to. You don't have any initiation tools other than Pharaoh. You need someone to be coupled up with him, like a Witch Slayer with a portal key. And you don't have that right now. So they need to dodge fights, and they're smartly doing so. They're counter pushing as best as they can. No Rune Cleaver yet, just up on the Scout. But if you're also now SG, oh my god, that tower died so freaking fast, unbelievable. But yeah, if you're SG, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You don't have any huge items as far as pushing into the base like a barrier idol, but you do have an Astrolabe. You do have the heals from the Soul Reaper.
See, now it's at a point where, okay, it's one thing to lose outer towers, but you cannot be losing your base towers, especially at this time. Hellborn team, they are setting up some defense. Scout is back as well in the well. I'm going to see a round with the Feral Initiation anytime soon. Rune Cleaver's purchased, by the way. Wow, so he actually had a lot sooner than I thought. But anyways, Ophelia Heal coming out. The Mummy Walls are going to stop right there. Magnus, who's channeling the Eruption. He will stun through. Feral is going to fall in the end, it looks like. As, Scout gets caught right there, just on the tail of the root. Nice kill at the last second, though. He'll stay alive for now. He's going to go back in. He was actually ported back to base, I believe. Warbeast being shrunken right there as he runs away in ulti form. So far, only the one death happening, as it was bought back, actually, by Pharaoh, who is now falling back himself. So in the end, they do defend the tower. Now, again, I will say, I'm shocked that the War Cleaver was picked up that quickly. I thought that we actually had another broadsword to go after that, but so he does have that now, and his farm is going to start progressing as a result. But
I feel like they could have done a better job taking down Warbeast. I think Zephyr was actually very out of position. He was up so far. They got the stuns. They had triple Minotaur stuns onto him. Like, one stun, the other two were ready to go. That should signal, oh my god, he's going to be stunned for a friggin' long time. We can initiate on this and kill him. And actually, in the meantime, you actually see Yellow caught out. And Z-Freak right here, they do have a Electric Eye right there, and he will die to a couple more auto attacks. There's actually the Pharaoh. Doesn't get credit for the assist, unfortunately, but Mookies gets credit for that kill.
Yeah.
And that's a step in the right direction for them. But yeah, like I said, if you have those 3 Minotaurs ready to stun, and you channel, say, the ultimate from Scout to do a little bit of extra damage, I feel like they could have got the kill onto Z-Freak very early on. But nonetheless, they did defend the tower. They got a bad exchange, though. They lost a kill, and they had a buyout. And yeah.
Yeah, not the prettiest of circumstances in the end for AL, but again, they are behind, and it could have been worse at the same time. So, you know, they kind of did minimize the damage from that perspective, but their base tower is already at half-life, so a lot of kind of back and forth there. Mystic Vestments has now been picked up by Scout, so again, he has his Rune Cleaver. This is where you kind of expect him to start taking off a little bit, so we'll see how progressive, actually, Mookies does get on Scout. But how about Slicks on Soul Reaper, man? We haven't really mentioned him since the laning phase, but look at his items. I mean, he has a Helm of the Black Legion, an Astrolabe, Ring of the Teacher, Steam Boots, Mystic Vestments. He is a beefy hero right now. Only 18.5 minutes in, and he has another 1,100 gold actually already saved up. So Slicks has been doing work here in that sense, as he's farming now 409 gold per minute. But actually, Warbeast is the top in the game right now at 461, and Shrunken Head is being delivered. We do have a jump here in the middle lane. Pharaoh going to be jumped now. He's going to be sent back by Ophelia here, as there we go. But you know what would have been funny if you Wrath of the Pharaohs right as he gets ported back. Would he fly from the well, all the way to the person?
I don't know if that's exactly what they would want.
Hey, it would be funny. I didn't say it would be a good idea, but anyways, it looks like we could have some initiation. There's going to be a vote to pause coming out here from AL. Kind of unfortunate timing, but yeah, this tower will definitely fall. But yeah,
Soul Reaper is very, very big though. Like very, very tanky. 400 GPM. I actually feel like, what's that new item? That's it used to be the Icon of the Goddess.
The Icon of the Goddess, yeah. Kind of like the what used to be the Sacrificial Stone.
I feel like that could actually be a pretty good item on Soul Reaper, if anybody. Like, I feel like if anybody, it could maybe go on Soul Reaper.
Yeah.
Because it does give you a lot of health and damage. But I still think the item's bad.
Well, it is. If we were to see that item, I agree with you. He kind of is one of those heroes that maybe, but yeah, it's still just not. It doesn't seem like it's. There's just better options out there.
Well, here's what's that? Here's what I'm thinking. It's like it's 1,000 more than Helm of the Black Legion, and it gives you more HP, right?
Yeah.
More HP
Obviously
and more
mana.
mana. More, not as much
Regen.
health regen, but more.
It
gives you
can
mana.
be more though. It depends
Yeah,
on
that's
the
right.
charges you have. So.
That's right. So
Actually, no. Maybe maybe that's the new meta, man. Maybe once people start picking up that, everyone will realize it is the new meta. They are trying to break in the base a little bit, but of course AL is able to hold it off. Again, we're still very early on. It's only 20 minutes into the game, not even. So Absolute Legends will hold it off for now. And Scout will go back to the jungle, continuing to farm. But look at Warbeast and Torture. They're roaming through the jungle here. Scout will need to be a little bit careful not to get caught out. He's going to kind of find them here. But he'll fall back. Is there any bound die on the Legion team yet? There is not yet. They do have a Revelation on Torture, but of course going against the Scout especially. Something to keep in mind. Getting that bound die perhaps, or maybe even the puzzle box level 3 on Warbeast, something like that. Could be pretty cool.
yeah.
Pretty useful.
Now that ultimate for Scout's actually pretty good against tanky heroes. Not gonna lie, because if they're stacking on HP, at least maybe not in armor, but in HP, it does take out a percentage of their AP, or HP. And just trying to look for signs of life here because it was not crazy lead yet. I mean, they're actually coming back in experience. They do have a lot of gold in their favor because of all the tower pushing they've done. In fact, yeah, like you mentioned, all the outer towers are pushed in favor of SG.
Yeah, exactly. That's one to refrain from saying that this. It's definitely not out of the question by any means that AL can come back here and even win this game. I mean, it's only 21 minutes in the end, so it still is fairly early on. We're kind of entering that mid-game stage.
Wow.
Say, but
Yeah, it feels like it's like 40 minutes in.
yeah, exactly. We're only 21 minutes in, so Scout does have another nearly 1,000. He must have bought something actually. I want to say he did. I feel like he had even more than that before, but he has 1,100 gold right now. We'll see what route he goes for here. As far as the next item pickup for him, Keeper of the Force and Warbeast are heading up here. Uh-oh, Scout, you might be in trouble. He's going to vanish right there. He notices something's up. Again, do they have a bound die? It doesn't look like it just yet. They still have those revs there on Torture, but Scout will be able to get away as he quickly runs with the vanish. And actually, he's going to go to this creep wave over here, maybe. He might just go around a different path. Anyways, he's going to be fine. But Stay Green, they could very likely just group up top here. Now push this because remember, the defensive tower at the top lane, it's about just over half life remaining on the tower. So yeah, Stay Green's going to try to take advantage of that now. Oh,
He can get a courier kill right here. Go, Mookies, go! And he gets the courier killed.
Nothing on it, but hey, they got the kill. That's annoying.
It's good gold.
Yeah,
I say that.
true.
But here we go with a big push up top lane. They're committed. They want this. And do they have the barrier idol up? No, they don't, but still, they have lots of heal and lots of push.
Yeah, and Scout, he currently is pushing the middle. Okay, he does port back right there, though. He actually exposed himself, porting back, so they're very aware that he's going back right now. The tower is very close to low. It's very close to falling. Vulnerability is going to be used. Pharaoh not initiating just yet. Tower will stay alive a little bit longer, but there we go. He jumps on a Warbeast, actually, of all heroes. There goes the Mummy Walls catching Soul Reaper. Witch Slayer jumps into the background. There comes a Magnus Eruption, though, with the stun on top of that. Scout trying to take out anybody, but it doesn't look like he can. Warbeast hitting his ground. If he goes down, Scout will go down, and Pharaoh will also get picked off. So the team fight is just way too strong, it looks like, in favor of Stay Green. And they will just, well, they just tear through Absolute Legends right there. And I think Stay Green could be on their way, especially after that push, to maybe a victory here.
I mean, they just took their heroes. They have lots of push. They got their core items, and they just stuck as 5. They did not separate. They didn't really give up for a second. And you can't against with this kind of lineup.
Yeah.
You give them a second. You give a couple of like 4 to 5 minutes of free farm to Scout without doing anything actively as a team. Then lo and behold, Scout actually has big items and can start taking these team fights. But they didn't let it up. They all sat together as 5, and they pushed up with all their massive heal, massive push, and their big ultimates. Keeper ultimate wasn't even used that fight.
Oh, wow.
So just to show you about how easy these fights are to take for Stay Green.
Yeah, the fact that, look at the gold pooled up on the Legion side.
Yeah.
Four of those here. It's knowing that they just won the fight as easy as they did right there, and the fact that they're each going to have another big item going into the next fight. There's the Portal Key on Keeper. Warbeast, 3,200 gold saved out, 2,700 on Soul Reaper, 3,500 on Magnus. So, yeah, clearly some bigger and better items coming up here for our Legion side. Whereas you have a Scout who's like, well, I got 1,200 more gold saved up after my Mighty Blade, so sure gonna possibly. But Acolyte Staff just purchased by Slicks there on his way to a possible Sheepstick. As yeah, he has a Blessed Orb already actually, so Sheepstick is gonna be very closely finished here for Soul Reaper. There's the Portal Key delivered to Keeper, and actually Brutalizer just picked up by Warbeast as well. So it is all adding up now for Stay Green here. And looking pretty good for them in what is, again, game number 3. So this could be it for Absolute Legends here for the winners bracket, at least. Both these teams competing to try to move on to the winners semifinals, where they will get a matchup against Complexity, which will be taking place tomorrow. So right now it's looking like Stay Green could be that team, but Absolute Legends, they're going to fight strong and at least fight one more battle here, see what happens.
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned too is that this entire team is pretty squishy in general, and now Scout feels that he is forced to buy a shrunken head. And with that said, you're not going to have the damage output to take anybody on this team, really.
Yeah.
You have the armor from Keeper coming out. That's going to keep them. It's going to mitigate a lot of that damage, that auto attack damage from Scout. And you have the massive heals and the massive AoE. So.
What do you mean you don't have the hero damage? 29% done on Pharaoh. This guy's a hero damage machine.
Well, that's what the Tormented Soul is all about.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, yeah, it's a lot of that is the Tormented Soul for sure, but. Yeah, the overall damage output, it's not there right now for AL. So yeah, the fact that, as you were saying, he has to go that shrunken head route, it feels unnecessary, which it's kind of true. It's with where they're at, but it's not pretty. Sheepstick has been finished on Slicks now too. What did Magmus? Magmus just went straight up shrunken head. So they did pick up those next tier of items here. And actually, Stay Green is going to group up and push, as you put it earlier. I mean, that's exactly what they've been doing. It's been working, and it's kind of what they should be doing. It all makes sense. So, group up and push. May go for Conquer first, and actually it looks like that's what they're going to attempt at least now. Again, Brutalizer on Warbeast. He doesn't have the Demonic Breastplate first, but so he's got the Brutalizer, some more damage out of that. And Conquer is dropping quickly here. It's going to be easily done.
Brutalizer is pretty cool on the Warbeast. I do like having attack speed a little bit before it, but not the biggest deal when you're up 13k at 26 minutes.
Yeah. Many more options open up as far as it not being a big deal if you go for it. So Conqueror will fall. There's the Token of Life. It's going to be delivered to Slicks right there. Again, he just also got delivered to Sheepstick, so they're ready to fight some big plays here. Mokies needs to be careful. He is so close to the Shrunken Head. In fact, Rook going to come out right there. They know Scott is here. Can they see him? Yes, they can. The Bound Eye, or not the Bound Eye, but the Electric Eye goes down. It just doesn't matter, though. He gets caught out. He does not have buyback.
That's game.
It is. I mean, there's no way you're coming back from that if it wasn't already. So, Stay Green will push, and there's just nothing AL can do, it seems like.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think there was anything else that could have been done. And actually, the GG well played coming out for AL. So Stay Green will take this series and move on to the semifinals in Cycle 2 for the Diamond Division, taking them out 2-1.
That they will. So congratulations to Stay Green. Definitely deserving. And what was a really fun series there as expected. Of course, best of the 3 series between Stay Green and Absolute Legends. But Stay Green moving on. Absolute Legends falling down to the losers bracket. So, of course, they still have, they still have even a chance to make it to the grand finals eventually. That's how double elimination works, obviously, but they will be a little bit more tougher of a road now with that said. So we'll keep an eye, again, to see how they perhaps finish things off, and I'm sure we may eventually cover them soon, whether it's even tomorrow or even the next weekend if they're still in it. So fun team to watch, but the road, at least in the winners bracket, ends here against Stay Green. Moving on, so they will be matched up against Complexity in the winners bracket semifinals. That will be taking place tomorrow, and the other winner semifinals is actually Trademark Esports versus Q Squad. Q Squad did take out Lion Esports 2-0 to get there. So those are the two we have the options from. I think Complexity Staying Green is the one that maybe a lot more people would like to see. I'm kind of liking that one.
Yeah.
We'll double check on that though and have official word on that here in the near future. But that should be the later match tomorrow. The first match tomorrow will be a losers bracket matchup. We'll come at you tomorrow to let you know exactly what we plan. But well, Trev, another fun day.
Yeah,
in the books.
Absolutely, a lot of good games today, actually.
Yeah.
So if you didn't get a chance to watch all of them, you're just tuning in or saw the last half of this game or what have you, make sure to check out the VODs because these actually were some pretty damn good games, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, they were. They were a lot of fun here. Both of the series, as you put it, of course, the first series, Stay Green versus My Revenge, and then Absolute Legends taking on Stay Green here. A lot of fun we had here today, and hell, again, not to jinx us by any means, a great day in the books. It seemed that it went all smooth for the most part. We had a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys had some fun tuning in. So we do appreciate it as always. But for tonight, that is going to conclude our casting for tonight. Tomorrow, though, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time, we'll be back. A losers bracket matchup here from the Diamond Division. Going to be coming at you, followed by the winners bracket. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Complexity versus Stay Green. I think we got to do that one. So that'll be the winners bracket semifinal matchup.
All right.
Then we'll follow it up. I don't know. You want Lions Q Squad? Were you?
No, I think Complexity versus.
Okay. I don't want to jump to conclusions here. That
No, it's all good.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so we'll look to do that again. That'll be the later match. First, going to be the losers bracket. But anyways, we'll see you tomorrow. But until then, any final words from yourself, Trev?
No, just well played by all the teams today. And again, congratulations to both, especially Absolute Legends, formerly Fortune Bakery, and OTP, which is now My Revenge for their new sponsors.
Yeah, going into the second cycle, seeing a couple more sponsors picking up. I've heard rumors that there's even more out there that are possibly going to be making some announcements soon. So HoN Tour, it's doing what it was hoped for, I should say, when it was conceptualized. You know, being all this work for so much time. It's bringing in sponsors. It's bringing a lot of activity. It's bringing us viewers. You know, to have a lot of fun, a lot of content. It's a blast, man. Cycle number 2 officially on its way, and we'll be coming back at you tomorrow on Sunday with Losers Bracket to kick things off. So until then, follow this guy at TrailFon.
And at Breaky CPK.
At HoNcast, HoNcast Facebook, all that jazz. HoNcast.com, HonTour.com. Shout out to Gila Owen. Shout out to you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.